I really do feel like this collection was made for me, you guys, because a pearl collection, say less. I bought it straight away as soon as I saw it online. This is the Juicy Heart of Oysters series. I mean, look at how beautiful with the little pearl detailing. I had to have it. Juicy is sort of like a newer brand to me. I've tried a few things from the brand, like their highlighter, a few lippies, but I've never tried like a whole collection. So I thought, why not this be the first collection I try, because it's just so fitting. My nails just happen to be matching as well. I got like white chrome nails, like the Hailey Bieber glazed donut nails, and it matches perfectly. So I feel like I just had to make a review as well. So with that being said, let's hop right into the review. Alright, let's start off with some product info. I purchased the whole collection myself. I purchased it off of the JUUUUUDY official website, their global website. I haven't really seen it anywhere else. I haven't seen it on YESSTYLE yet, but I did see it on CHICDECENT. I don't think they have like the full collection. I just only saw the eyeshadow and the lippies, but I will say if you want to get the full collection, definitely their global website is probably the best way to purchase it. I do have it here behind me, which we'll kind of break down first. So in this collection, there is a 12 pan eyeshadow palette called Night of Pearl. This is $39.90 and it has a clear cover with little pearls on it. I feel like it's very delicate, very pretty. Next are two cheek products. We have the blush in a Ripple Pink and the highlighter in a light sparkle. Both are $18.90 USD each. Then lastly in the collection, we have two of their Essence Glaze Rouge lipsticks, and these are $29.90 each. And if you want to buy the full collection, it goes for $130. So you'll get this little box which you could repurpose, use it as a little storage box. It's very cute. You'll also get this little lip and cheek cream pearl keychain. So you do open it up and there is product inside, but you can use it like a pearl keychain, which is adorable. And then you also get this pearl bag as well. So I feel like if you are wanting one or two things from this collection, I think it's actually more worth it to get the full collection. As I mentioned earlier, that I've only tried a few things from JUUUUUDY, and I think a lot of the times it might have been gifted to me. I don't think I really purchased anything from them with my own money, so I wasn't really sure of the price point. I always thought they were like quite affordable, like somewhere around like a JUDY doll or Florette. But I will say with these prices, it's definitely around the flower nose range, a little bit higher honestly. I mean, $40 for that palette, so that kind of does shift my review. I always like to keep price point into consideration, but I'm pretty sure this is all in USD, and if it's in USD, I'm like, yeah, this is quite expensive. So with that being said, let's go through product by product and let me share what I feel like is worth it. Starting off with the eyeshadow palette. It comes with 6 mattes, have 2 sort of satin shadows, and then 4 shimmers. And within these 4, they do range from duochrome to glitter to metallic. So we do have a really good ratio, pretty much like 6:6. The packaging is really pretty, very simple, very delicate with the clear cover and the little pearls stuck on the top. I feel like honestly this could be like a little DIY if you have any palettes that look somewhat like this, sticking on some pearls. Considering how expensive this palette is, I feel like we could have gotten more from the packaging. But I will say these shadows I believe are magnetic, because on the back there are little holes where you can poke the shadows out, so that's always nice. You can always rearrange the palette around. But when you do look at the palette head on, it's pretty much split in half. So on your one side you have your pinks and mauve, and then on the other side you have your grays and your darker, deeper shadows. So I feel like that's a really easy way to approach this palette. And I did create 2 looks with this. So the current look I'm wearing right now, I used most of the pink side, and then I filmed a look for my TikTok, which I will put over the screen here, where I use the darker side. And I will say overall the shadows were really easy to work with. The mattes are not super pigmented off the bat. It's typical Chinese formula, which I personally like, where they're not super pigmented where it's hard to blend out, but then it's not super light like K-Beauty that it's really hard to show up. I love this like sort of middle ground, and these were really easy to work with. I didn't have any issues with any of the mattes. I've used all of the mattes within the 2 looks that I did. And then like I mentioned, we have 2 like satin shadows. So we have this light pink called Pink Silk. This is a beautiful baby pink satin shadow, great for the inner corner. It almost comes off a bit white once it's on, but it's really pretty, very reflective. I love a good satin shadow for my aegyo style. I feel like we have almost everything from start to finish, everything in between. I really love the ratio. I enjoyed the formula as well, But when I think about this palette being $40 US, it's hard to say that it's worth it. Again, the shadows performed well, but I don't know, if this was 40 New Zealand dollars, I'll be like, okay, worth. So I'm trying to think with like Flower Nose. Their biggest palette I think is a 9-pan palette, and I don't think it's $40, or it might be $40, but I feel like the packaging and the experience that you get with those is like a bit different. This is still pretty, but I still feel like it's a bit basic, you know what I mean? So I will say I can't fully recommend it because of the price point. However, if we take away the price point away, it is a really beautiful eyeshadow palette. I feel like for me, I would gravitate towards this palette for those shimmers. It's hard to fully recommend knowing how expensive this is. I just like can't justify it, you know, being that price point. Unless it's something I'm gonna wear every single day, then yeah, I could. But for me personally, it's just not something that I would wear every day. So I'll leave it at that before I just keep talking in circles. Now we come on to the two cheek products. The packaging on this is super pretty. I wish they would have done this on the eyeshadow palette. I feel like that would have given it more of a reason for the price point, but it only has this sort of packaging on the blushes, which is so pretty. It literally looks like a pearl. So we do have one blush and one highlighter. So let me talk about the blush first. This is an S224 Ripple Pink, and this is a satin blush, and it is what I'm wearing on my cheeks right now. I think it's the most pretty shade of pink. However, I probably wouldn't use this on its own. I would use this more as like a blush topper or a highlighter even. I just think on its own, maybe it's a little bit too satin for my liking, but it does build up really nice. Like you do get this beautiful flush of pink on the cheeks. I really like this, and I think out of the whole collection, this is the product that I probably would use the most in my day-to-day makeup. I mean, it's just really up my alley, a pink blush, and I've been slowly getting back into like highlighters and like satin blushes. I've been really liking that look, so this is just really up my alley at the moment, so I really have been enjoying this. It's very pretty. It doesn't really emphasize your texture because it doesn't have a lot of chunky glitters. It really is just like a satin pink blush. Very buildable, very pretty. But then let's talk about the highlighter. So this is in D310 Light Sparkle, and this one is really pretty too. Okay, I will say the first time I used it, it showed up with a lot more glitter, but when I use it today, it came off a little bit more metallic. So I'm not sure if like the first layer had a lot more glitter, and then once you get rid of that first layer, it's just going to translate a lot more metallic and satin-like, which I personally prefer that more in a highlighter where it doesn't have as much glitter. I don't really love a glitter highlight for day-to-day. I like something a little bit more satin, metallic, that kind of looks like a real glow, you know what I mean? It literally looks like a pearl. Like it has that white base, but it almost shifts a little bit blue, kind of just like the outer packaging here. This is really, really pretty, very finely milled. I do think you could find something very similar in other highlighters that are affordable too, like even just like ColourPop for example. But I do want to compare this to their very popular highlighter, sort of like a dupe for the Fenty Beauty Diamond Bomb highlighter. That one has a lot more glitter through and through and through. I've been using that one for I think years now, and that one has consistently always had glitter, whereas this one, like I mentioned, I felt like the first layer had a lot of glitter, but then now that I swatch it and I use it, it's really just more like a metallic satin highlight, like a glow. There's not much of those like bigger glitters in it, so there is a difference between those two. So it's not the same because you don't want a repeat type of product in a brand, right? Very different. Both are very satin. So the blush is satin-like, the highlighter satin-like. You'll have a very like very mermaid-esque cheek look. And lastly, we have the lipsticks. They're Essence Glaze Rouge lipsticks. These I would describe to be sort of like a lipstick and lip balm hybrid. It's that type of formula where it has that pigmentation like a lipstick, but it has that hydration like a lip balm. So that's where I kind of like to describe it. It's a hybrid of both. It gives a shine to the lips as well. It's very comfortable to wear. I will say that these are a little bit scented, so maybe that's why my lips do do feel a little bit tingly when I do use it. I have, I would say, fairly sensitive lips, so sometimes when things are scented, I can have like a mild reaction to it. Yeah, when I do apply these, it does feel a little bit tingly, but nothing of concern. But it kind of smells like mandarins, I will say. These are really pretty though, you guys. There are two shades. One's a little bit more of like a burnt brown with an orange undertone, and then the one I'm wearing right now is a bit more of like a warm reddish pink, I would say. These are definitely pretty, but I feel like with this collection, it just didn't really go with the look. It didn't really go with the other makeup products because these are very warm, and everything else, like the highlighter, the blush, the eyeshadow palette, everything is cool toned. And for me, it just clashes a little bit when everything up here is cool and then you have a very warm lip. To me, it clashes a little bit. It kind of threw me off on how I was gonna like it. So we're doing shade specifically. I don't think it matches the collection, but if these shades came in a sort of like autumn collection, I think it would be so pretty. Like a very warm, rich look. I think those would be pretty, but kind of clash within the collection. However, the formula is very comfortable, very easy to wear. I love this type of formula. So with these, even though I felt like these didn't suit the collection, these are also not my type of shades. I like something a little bit more pink and something a bit more cooler tone. So I think to just overall wrap up on this collection, I will say that honestly, nothing really stood out to me, if I'm being honest. I think if anything, it's the blush, the pink blush I'm probably gonna use the most. But I will say everything did perform well. It's just not something I would use on the day-to-day. You know what I mean? Like these are not my usual type of colors. I feel like if everything was a little bit more affordable, I would probably recommend it a little bit more, but knowing that it is quite expensive, it's a bit hard to recommend with my full chest. But I guess to talk about the little accessories, if you do buy the full collection, I don't think you can buy these on its own. Only get it if you are buying the full set. So you get this box here, which is really pretty. I'm gonna use this as like a little storage box. It has like a little bow on the side. This little pearl keychain is really nice as well. I did use it as a base for my cheeks and also for my lips as well. It's not too balmy where it will slip and slide. I think it is a pretty decent formula considering it's just like in a little keychain. I think this is so cute. It looks like a little ornament, but it's like a real pearl keychain. And this little purse that you get is really cute too. It's a pretty simple standard bag. It just opens up like this. It has two pearl detailing here. Honestly, not bad, and I definitely probably would use this. That is really cute, and that is essentially the full collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this like really quick review. I feel like I haven't done a review video in a long time that's like on a smaller collection. I feel like my reviews these days are all on like Flower Nose collection reviews, and those are really big. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And with that being said, that is going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for watching as always. I love you, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!